Every Valentine's Day, a masked killer known as the Hard Eyes Killer turns love into a nightmare, hunting down romantic couples and leaving a trail of terror. This year, the bloodshed continues, and no couple is safe. The film begins at a winery in Seattle, where a young couple, Patrick and Adeline, are enjoying a romantic moment. As the evening unfolds, Patrick surprises Adeline with a proposal, something she never expected. Overwhelmed with joy, she happily accepts. However, in the midst of their celebration, Patrick receives a call from his photographer, Nico, who informs him that he missed capturing the proposal. Frustrated but determined to get the perfect shot, Patrick prepares to redo the moment. Unfortunately for Nico, while setting up for the shot, he is brutally stabbed through the face by a masked killer known as Hard Eyes. Oblivious to the horror unfolding nearby, Patrick and Adeline continue their proposal, unaware that their dream moment is about to turn into a nightmare. As Patrick answers a phone call in the middle of the celebration, Hard Eyes strikes, firing an arrow straight through his head. Adeline, frozen in shock, screams in terror before instinctively running for her life. As she flees, she barely dodges a few of Hard Eyes' arrows and manages to find a temporary hiding spot. However, a call suddenly comes through on her phone. It's Hard Eyes. In a panic, she yells and screams at him, unknowingly giving away her location. Seizing the opportunity, the killer shoots an arrow at her foot, wounding her and slowing her escape. Desperate, Adeline stumbles into the facility, where she witnesses Hard Eyes killing a security guard. She keeps running, hoping to find safety, but her luck runs out. Her attempt to hide turns into her downfall when Hard Eyes finds her and locks her inside a massive grape press machine, crushing her completely. Weeks later, news of Hard Eyes' gruesome murders spreads like wildfire, with authorities warning citizens to remain vigilant. The killer has previously terrorized cities like Boston, targeting couples celebrating Valentine's Day. Meanwhile, at a coffee shop nearby, ad designer Allie McCabe is grabbing coffee with her coworker and best friend, Monica. Just as they're about to leave, Allie crosses paths with a charming stranger named Jay Simmons. They strike up a brief conversation over the coincidence of ordering the same coffee, but things quickly take an awkward turn when they accidentally bump heads, twice. To make matters worse, Allie unintentionally gives Jay a bloody nose. Embarrassed by her clumsiness, she rushes off to work. As she leaves, Jay hears a news report about the Hard Eyes Killer, along with a stern warning from the police urging couples to stay home on Valentine's Day. Back at work, Allie's boss, Crystal Kane, calls her out for pitching a controversial perfume ad featuring famously doomed lovers, Romeo and Juliet. Given the ongoing horror surrounding Hard Eyes, the timing of the ad is seen as tone-deaf and in extremely poor taste. To fix the PR disaster, Crystal introduces Jay, who turns out to be the company's new hire, to help clean up the mess. Meanwhile, the city remains on high alert. Detectives Zeke Hobbs and Janine Shaw arrive at the winery to investigate the brutal murders of Patrick and Adeline. As they examine the crime scene, they discover a wedding ring in the grape press machine where Hard Eyes claimed Adeline's life. Shaw begins to suspect that these murders are more than random acts of violence. Hard Eyes appears to have a twisted, ritualistic method of killing his victims. Back at the office, Allie confronts Crystal for humiliating her in front of the entire team. Afterward, she takes a moment to clear her head, only to be interrupted by Jay, who invites her to dinner, strictly for work purposes. Hesitant at first, Allie eventually agrees. Later, Monica takes Allie shopping for a new outfit, and over dinner, they discuss Allie's habit of stalking her ex-boyfriend online. Monica finds it weird, but Allie insists she's just surprised at how quickly he moved on. She also tells Monica about her upcoming dinner with Jay, which excites Monica enough to push Allie into getting a fresh look for the occasion. That evening, Allie arrives at a restaurant to meet Jay. As she enters, security scans her for weapons, revealing that they are taking extra precautions in case Hard Eyes decides to strike. Jay soon arrives, and as they chat, he shares his belief in love and his hope of finding the right person. Allie, however, is bitter and cynical, still heartbroken over her ex. Seeing him all over social media with his new girlfriend has only made things worse. The conversation takes an awkward turn, leading to a tense moment that ruins the night. Frustrated, Jay decides to leave. Realizing she may have been too harsh, Allie runs after him to apologize. In a spur-of-the-moment decision, she grabs him and kisses him, right as she spots her ex, Colin, and his new girlfriend, Sienna. Just before Colin and Sienna enter the restaurant, Allie impulsively pretends that she and Jay are in a relationship. As the four of them chat, Colin and Sienna mention that they were supposed to be on a double date with Patrick and Adeline, completely unaware of their tragic fate. Meanwhile, lurking from afar, Hard Eyes watches their every move. After dinner, Allie and Jay head home, sharing a ride. Once they arrive at Allie's apartment, she realizes she has lost her keys. The driver, trying to be helpful, encourages Jay to ask Allie out, which seems to motivate him. However, before he can make his move, he learns about Allie's missing keys and offers to help. Jay breaks a window to get inside but ends up cutting his hand badly in the process. Feeling responsible, Allie invites him into her apartment to treat his injury. As she cleans and bandages Jay's wound, their conversation turns personal, with Allie opening up about her past and why she dropped out. The tension between them slowly builds, leading to an intimate moment. However, just as Allie moves to hide some of her personal belongings in her closet, her heart stops. Hard Eyes is already inside, waiting in the shadows. The killer suddenly lunges at her, but Jay reacts quickly, trying to fight him off. Hard Eyes nearly stabs Jay, but Allie smashes a lamp over the killer's head, giving them a chance to escape. They rush out of the apartment and lock the door behind them, but Hard Eyes doesn't give up so easily. He stabs his knife through the door before turning his attention to the driver outside, brutally killing him. In the chaos, Allie realizes something crucial: Hard Eyes only targets couples. Desperate to save themselves, she shouts that she and Jay are not actually together and barely even know each other. But the killer isn't buying it. Allie and Jay make a run for it, heading toward a park. Just as they think they've lost him, Hard Eyes emerges again and knocks Jay unconscious. Allie, now completely alone, sprints toward a carousel, frantically searching for an escape. The killer catches up, grabbing her, but she manages to kick him off, buying herself just enough time. As she stumbles away, the sound of sirens fills the air. Police have arrived. Detective Hobbs announces that Hard Eyes has been captured. Relieved but shaken, Allie finds Jay in the back of a police car. However, things take a shocking turn when Hobbs and Shaw, ironically sharing the same names as the action duo from the Rocks movie, mistakenly believe Jay is Hard Eyes. They claim to have found evidence linking him to the murders, but Allie refuses to believe it. At the police station, detectives interrogate Jay, accusing him of killing multiple couples. Frustrated and annoyed, Jay insists he's innocent. Meanwhile, Allie steps outside and meets David, an IT guy who recognizes her from the Bumble app. Unaware of the danger she's just been through, David tries to flirt with her, but she shuts him down, saying, "Not the best time. I'm being hunted by a serial killer." As David walks away, he casually tells her to celebrate since Hard Eyes has been caught. But Allie isn't convinced. When she tries to find the station clerk for answers, she comes up empty. Growing more anxious, she grabs an American flagpole, arming herself in case the real villain is still out there. Shaw and the station clerk arrive just as Allie is gripping the flagpole for protection. The clerk takes it from her hands, trying to reassure her, while Shaw starts a conversation. But before they can process anything, the lights in the station suddenly go out. Shaw steps away to check on the power outage, leaving Allie with the clerk. Moments later, a chilling scream echoes through the darkness. Hard Eyes has struck again, killing the clerk with the very flagpole Allie was holding earlier. Panic sets in as Allie takes off running. The station is now a hunting ground, and to make matters worse, Hard Eyes seems to have no trouble seeing in the dark. The detectives rush in to confront him, but they're hopelessly outmatched. Shaw is knocked unconscious, while Hobbs suffers a gruesome fate. Hard Eyes slashes him open with a machete before finishing him off. With the officers down, Hard Eyes turns his attention to Jay, who is still chained up in the interrogation room. Just as the killer is about to strike, Allie arrives just in time to free Jay from his restraints. The two barely make it outside when an incoming vehicle speeds toward Allie, trying to run her down. But Jay pushes her out of the way, saving her. With no time to catch their breath, they sprint away as Hard Eyes relentlessly chases them. They find themselves in a park full of happy couples, an ideal hunting ground for the killer. Before they can warn anyone, Hard Eyes slaughters a young man in his path, causing chaos as people begin screaming and fleeing in terror. Desperate for a hiding spot, Allie and Jay duck into a parked van, only to find it already occupied by a couple in the middle of some intimate roleplay. The couple assumes Allie and Jay are just playing along, oblivious to the real danger outside. As the couple gets louder, Their noise attracts Hard Eyes, who mercilessly kills them by shoving a tire iron through their mouths. Realizing they can't just keep running, Allie and Jay decide to make a stand. Hard Eyes won't stop until they're dead, so they have no choice but to end this fight right here. Grabbing the tire iron as a weapon, they face off against the masked killer. The battle is brutal. Allie bashes him over the head with a propane tank, but Hard Eyes quickly grabs her by the throat. Before he can strangle her, Jay drives a machete into his chest, finally bringing the killer down. As the adrenaline fades, Ally, completely overwhelmed, vomits onto Hard Eyes' corpse, unable to handle the sight of blood all over her. Jay hesitates, then pulls off the killer's mask, revealing some random guy named Eli. No connection, no deeper motive, just a psychotic murderer. Moments later, medics arrive to treat Allie and Jay. Before parting ways, Jay gives Allie his number, in case she ever wants to talk. Meanwhile, Shaw, now conscious again, offers Jay a ride to the airport, as he has a friend's wedding to attend. Allie returns home, but something feels off. Later that night, she calls her friend Monica and admits she regrets not making a move on Jay. She's starting to have real feelings for him. Monica urges her to go after him before it's too late. Motivated, Allie rushes to the airport, calling Jay's name as she searches for him. But he's nowhere to be found. Then, her phone rings. An unknown number. She hesitates, then answers. A chilling voice speaks on the other end. It's Hard Eyes. He's still alive, and he has Jay. If you want him back, the voice taunts, meet me at the chapel. Or else Jay dies. Allie arrives at the chapel and finds Jay, along with Hard Eyes. In a shocking twist, he's revealed to be David, the IT guy. And he's not alone. His partner is none other than Detective Shaw. They're a twisted couple who get their thrill from hunting and killing lovers, while Eli was just a wannabe murderer trying to join in. David forces Allie to make an impossible choice, kill herself or Jay. But Allie outsmarts them, shooting Jay's shoulder so the bullet hits Shaw. Furious, David lunges at them, but Jay drives an arrow straight through his eye, sending him crashing into a fire. Meanwhile, Allie takes on Shaw, stabbing her with a metal straw before finishing her off by impaling her on the sword of Saint Valentine's statue. David makes one last attempt, but Jay finishes him with another arrow. A year later, Allie and Jay are not just alive, they're thriving. Their campaign is a massive success, and they're now a couple. They return to the same drive in where they once fought for their lives. Jay suggests moving in together, but Allie takes it a step further. She proposes. Jay says yes and they kiss. During the credits, Allie gets a mysterious phone call. She hesitates before answering, but it's just a friend who was hired to take photos of the proposal. Just as she starts to relax, the call suddenly cuts off, leaving an eerie silence.